Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, what is up everybody? This is Ruben and I'm back with another Ruben Report. In today's video we're going to be talking about winter gear for commuting during the winter season. Alright, as I stated in my last video that I did about my 3-month update for my KLR, this is the first full winter that I've ridden my bike, or any bike for that matter. My other bike that I have here in the garage, I bought this one almost about a year ago, around like mid-January, but I didn't really use it to commute, like riding daily, until late March. So riding this bike ever since November all the way until now. I know the winter season is not completely over, but I just wanted to share a lot of tips and tricks that I've learned over the past couple months, because we all know riding in the winter season, it kind of sucks. Let's just face it, it sucks. But there's things that you can do to make it suck less. All right. And I want to share with you guys the things that I have done for this winter season that have really helped me be a little bit more comfortable out there while commuting back and forth from work. And this is comfort that you can achieve while on a budget. A lot of these items are not very expensive, and it's possibly items that you already have. Before we start things off here, we're going to look at why riding the winter season sucks so much. And as you can see, this motorcycle wind chart here, at least in my area, I've been experiencing temperatures around 30 and 35 degrees. Now, with wind chill, the faster you ride, the colder the wind feels. And typically for my commuting, I'm doing mostly around 50 and 55, but sometimes I go on the highway as well and I'm around 65 to 70. So at the coldest, I've been experiencing temperatures of about 9 degrees Fahrenheit, and at the warmest, I would be experiencing temperatures of around 20 degrees or 19 degrees Fahrenheit. So as you can see, the ambient temperature outside is not that big of an issue. It's the wind chill effect that you feel as you ride. And the longer your commute is, the colder things are going to get and the more it's going to suck. So I'm going to share with you guys some things that you can do to mitigate that. And we're going to start with the gear that you can equip your bike with. So, starting with the accessories that you can add to your KLR, and also knowing that the wind chill is what we're really trying to mitigate. You pretty much want to add accessories to your bike that's going to protect your body from wind as much as possible. Okay, so depending on how tall you are, I'm 6'5", so I have a very tall windscreen, but I think the standard KLR windscreens possibly come to about here, if I'm not mistaken. And you can always buy these extended windscreens off of Amazon. They're not very expensive. I think they're around anywhere between 15, 20, maybe even $30. Just depends on how tall you want yours to be. This is the tallest one that I could find at the time that I bought mine, which was actually over a year ago. I had this on my other bike over there. And this thing is adjustable, so you can move it up, move it down. So you can just pretty much clamp it onto your bike, and you can move it down into the down position when you don't need it in the summertime. Yeah, like so. Have it down now. And you can move it back up whenever you may need it again. Okay, so that's upgrade number 1. Obviously, upgrade number 2 is going to be handguards. Now, for you guys out there who may be using your bikes primarily to ride off-road, you definitely want to get ones that have like a metal bar support on the inside. But for me, I like to just have wind guards, because a lot of those off-road style handguards, they don't do a very good job of covering your whole hand like these ones do. All right, so if you're just a commuter, opting for wind guards, really, that's what they're called. The bigger the better, because it'll do a much better job of keeping the wind off of your hands. And you want to also, not only do you want to keep the wind off your hands, it's a good idea to install heated grips. Now, there's a lot of different brands out there. I think the cheapest one is Tusk, where you can basically use whatever grips you like, and you put the Tusk system underneath the grip, you put the grip back on, and then you just have the system. All right. My bike came with these Bike Master heated grips, but I bought Bike Master heated grips last year for my other bike over there. Back then they were like $40. They've gone up a little bit. They're around $60 now, I believe. The Tusk brand, I have to look it up again to see how much that is. All right, I found them on eBay. They're around $25. This is a little heated coils, and you're going to have to use your own handlebar grips. Now, if you're going to be replacing your handlebar grips anyway, they do have another style that you can purchase, and these ones are a little bit more expensive, $45, but it comes with its own handlebar grip. All right, so it's pretty much just like the Bike Master. It's just take the old grips off, put these on, one and done, you're good to go. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the accessories that you want to put on your bike to minimize the wind chill on your body. And doing heated grips alone, it'll work for a little bit, but if you're not covering your hands, the wind that gets to whatever gloves that you have, I've tried them all. I've tried like really thick winter gloves. We're going to see my gloves in a minute, but I've found the heated grip with handguard combo to be the most effective method of keeping your hands warm. All right, aside from actual heated gloves, but you know, this is about winter accessories on a budget, not necessarily getting expensive winter gloves or heated gloves. All right. Also, since we're here, I want to talk about 2 performance upgrades that you might consider when it comes to your KLR for winter riding. One is really convenience. I removed the choke cable here, and I actually put in a choke cable eliminator kit. Okay, so this here, you guys can get a good look at it. So you guys can see this nut here, right? This little nut allows you to adjust the tension that's on this plunger. So the choke is basically a really simple push-pull choke now, okay? But you can adjust the tension of this push-pull choke with this little lock nut. And basically, I have it set to where every time I get on the bike, all I have to do is walk up, pull the choke, okay, and fire the bike up. All right. And as the bike is running and warming up, the vibrations of the engine plunger will slowly back in on itself, right? And you guys can see the RPMs are starting to go down slightly. So the more that the engine warms up, the more that as the engine is vibrating, the more that little push-pull choke is slowly going back in. And it's just a convenience thing where I come into the garage, I open it up, I go ahead and start the bike up, I get like my helmet and stuff on, and then by the time that I'm ready to ride, it's already settled down. Okay, so the push-pull, it's already backed in. And so by the time that I actually ride off, it's well warmed up and I don't have to touch it. So it's really just a pull it, start it, and you don't have to worry about it, right? And this other upgrade, which is an upgrade that you possibly should have already, is the thermal bob. Okay, the thermal bob is going to stabilize your operating temperature a lot better. The bike also gets up to temperature a lot quicker too, because riding in much colder temperatures in winter, before I had the thermal bob on there, well, one, when I would stop at a stoplight, sometimes the needle would go like really close to the H, and then when I actually started to get running again, it would be all the way over here, really close to the C. Right now, when I ride, it's when I'm actually riding and like maybe on the highway, on the back roads, it's really maybe like, it's hard for me to say. I don't know. Yeah, maybe like right there on the C. Okay, and then the highest it'll go is probably like right there. So it's the range in which the needle moves has been shortened significantly, and it just stabilizes the temperature a lot better while riding in colder conditions. So those are two upgrades that you should possibly consider, especially if you ride in much colder climates. Thermal bob upgrade and convenience push-pull choke. It's up to you. I also just didn't want to have to deal with maintaining cable, down here. And I think a lot of other folks had issues with possibly like dropping their bike and things of that nature, and damaging their choke cable. So that's just something I don't have to worry about. Very simple push-pull system. Pull it once and I'm gone. All right, now we're going to start talking about your actual riding gear, starting with the helmet. Now, if you've ridden in any cold temperature for any period of time, you know that after a certain period of time, your helmet the visor on your helmet starts to fog up pretty quickly. Now, I've tried using this anti-fog cleaner. It was slightly helpful. It held off the moisture buildup in a helmet, and that's generally what causes the fog to begin with, is breathing while the helmet is closed. So what generally helps is riding with the visor cracked open a little bit, but that gets quite uncomfortable after a certain period of time, especially if it's cold enough. So I tried using this. This only seemed to work for 5-10 minutes max, and then the helmet still fogs all the way up again. Another thing that you can do is you can wear one of these. This is like a little, I guess to call it like a balaclava or something like that. So I'm probably butchered that word. This is basically like a little ski mask thing you can put over your head, and this can be underneath. So that way, if you were to crack your visor open just for a short period, you can keep most of your face warm. The next thing that I tried was a insert for the visor. And the insert for the visor that I bought was initially off of Amazon. Now, the ones that are these universal and generic ones that you can buy off of Amazon, the way that they work is the edges are made of some type of sticky material that sticks to the helmet. And it worked for a certain period of time, but once that moisture starts to build up, it starts to get through the adhesive that's on the edges, and it also started to fog up again for me. So I still do have an insert in here, but the insert that I have in this helmet is a pin lock insert, as you can see. Pin lock inserts are specifically designed for whatever helmet that you're wearing. So I have a built Nomad helmet. I bought this from Cycle Gear. They sell these specifically for these helmets, and they design the insert specifically for whatever helmet you may have, and it locks to these pins. So with this pin lock, it ensures that the seal that's going around here stays completely shut, and that the insert is locked in place. So it does a much better job at sealing the moisture out. So I will get some humidity or some moisture down around the edges. I've never had it on the top. It's always on the bottom because, you know, while I'm breathing, it builds up down here. So I might have had some moisture build up a little bit towards the bottom, but I'm always able to see. So far, to combat the fog, pin lock inserts have been the most effective. Okay, so whatever helmet it is that you have, research whether or not there's a pin lock available for it, buy it, and you won't be disappointed. Okay, and next is gloves. Okay, I chose these Kime Moto gloves. These were really cheap on Amazon. I got these for like $10. Okay, they work great. They have 3M layering on the inside. My recommendation to you is, if you can buy motorcycle gloves, depending on your hand size, try to buy gloves that are 2, maybe even 3 sizes bigger than what you actually wear. For me, that really wasn't possible because my hands are huge. But if you're someone who, let's say you have like a size medium hand, try to buy a glove that's 2X. Because what you can do with that is you can wear another style of gloves underneath, so you can double up on the gloves. All right? If you double up on the gloves and you're blocking the wind and you got the heated grips on, that's going to give you the best chance of keeping your hands warm. Okay. Obviously, heated gloves is going to be a much better option if you have the money to go ahead and invest. But for $10, you can't really beat it. All right. This does great for the price. As you guys can see, I mean, just a short glimpse on Amazon. If you want to get heated gloves, they're anywhere between like $150, 120. The cheapest that I saw was around $30. I don't know whether or not the cheap ones are really going to work that well, and whether or not they're even waterproof. So, you know, having electronical heated gear on your hands, probably the more expensive ones are going to be better at being waterproof. But one thing that I've learned, especially when we're going to talk about all the other gear that I have, putting on multiple layers of clothing and gear creates layers of insulation. And that's how you retain your body heat the most effectively, right? So this part of my gear is the only part of my gear that does not have multiple layers. And this is why it works good, but it could be a whole lot better. There's been some times where I'll be riding and I have the heated grips on full blast, and it's covering my hands, but it's still just so cold out that my very fingertips, it's always the fingertips, the parts of the fingers that are just not completely gripped around the handlebar get cold. So I got to pull over and then put my hands behind the exhaust for a little bit while the bike's running, and then hop back on. Okay. So we're going to talk about, or we're going to be expanding upon this concept of creating multiple, having multiple layers and creating those layers of insulation with all the other gear that I have. All right, I got the camera turned around for this part because we're going to be talking about the clothes now. And as you can see, I start my first layer with a hoodie. I got another shirt underneath here, but the rest of the gear, it's just all about layers. So I have a hoodie, a shirt underneath, a hoodie, a winter jacket, okay? And then I put on my actual motorcycle jacket. Okay. This motorcycle jacket is windproof, waterproof, and I've ridden in temperatures all the way down to about 29 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the coldest I've ridden, but typically it's around low 30s. Going out, there's like frost on the vegetation. Okay, so with all these layers on, looking like the Michelin Man, right? But with all these layers of insulation, getting all that wind on me, I barely feel anything. I feel absolutely fine. And another thing I forgot to expound on when it comes to the gloves, you don't want to get short ones. You want to get ones that are gauntlet style, so that way when you put them on, right, they go all the way up to the cuff, so you don't have air going into your jacket. Some jackets also have these like zippers for vents. Well, when you have insulated layers, you really don't feel it, but for some, depending on how cold it is, you may even ride, it might even be a good idea to put like some duct tape or something to tape up your vents so you don't have air passing through the zippers. All right, so that's the top half. We're gonna get to the bottom half. All right, so for the bottom half, depending on how cold it is, there's been times where I would just ride, let's say if I'm leaving very early in the morning and it's low 30s, I would be dressed in this and then other gear that we're going to talk about. But if it's not as cold outside, maybe it's like low 50, I would just have this jacket on, and I would have my regular pants, but then I would put these underneath. Okay, and these are cycling pants. These are pants that folks who ride bicycles wear, and they're really warm and fleece on the inside. So I will put this underneath my actual pants, and I would ride with the cycling pants and then the regular pants on top, creating those layers. Okay? That's if it's around low 50s. right? If it's even colder, like really low 40s, 30s, then we'll get on my next item. I'll get these. Okay? These are snow pants. Okay? I'd wear these on top. These will be the top layer that I would wear. And with these snow pants, I've been able to ride all the way down to 29 degrees, and it's been fantastic. All right? Now the thing with having gear like this, or the reason why it is that I have gear like this and I don't have like actual like winter riding pants. When it comes to the winter riding pants, at least the ones that I could find, like they make pants that are wide enough, but they don't make pants long enough. I'm 6'5", so I have an inseam of like 36 inches. And while riding on the motorcycle if I were to buy one of those pants that only had, because most of them had like 32, 34, I would get wind up my leg and going, you know, basically bypassing all of my layers, and that's just something I didn't want to have to deal with. So I went the route of buying like cycling pants and snow pants, because I just had a lot more variety of sizes of things. And so you can get pants like these, you know, with 36 length, and it covers my whole leg all the way down to past my ankle, covers my boot, and so that keeps air from rushing in and getting to my ankles. And another thing that I do, because they're not like real riding pants, I would wear these, okay, underneath to protect my knees. All right. So those are things that you can do. And if it gets, I mean, I ride, the lowest that I've ridden is 29 degrees. If I rode anything even lower than that, then I would probably put the cycling pants underneath my actual pants, along with wearing these. All right. So as you guys can see, you know, riding in the wintertime on a budget, it's really simple. It's all about creating layers. And when it comes to buying, you know, pants like these, like the snow pants, right? Try to buy them in about 2, 3, maybe even 4 times bigger than what you actually wear. Why would you do that? Because when you have those oddball sizes, sometimes they go on really good discounts. So I was very lucky, and I kid you guys not, I bought these pants for $8. Brand new, $8 shipped to my door. The cycling pants were, I think, were about $15. All right. So altogether, a motorcycle jacket is something that you most likely already have. If you don't, you can get one for one of those Hawk jackets off of Amazon for like 50 or 60 bucks. Again, same concept. Get a size that's about 2, 3, 2 sizes bigger than what you actually wear. Because again, you're trying to put on layers. You guys saw me looking like, blew up like the Michelin Man. If you want to fit, a full winter jacket underneath your riding jacket, you got to make sure it's a really big jacket. Okay, so you get sizes that are about 2 sizes bigger than what you actually wear, so that way you can put all these layers on. All right, cycling pants, just get them the regular size that you wear, because generally this is going to be underneath whatever clothes that you normally wear. Okay, and then you can do the knee pads underneath the snow pants if you're going to go that route. Obviously, if you have the opportunity to buy like actual proper riding pants, overall, like safety wise, it's going to be better, but comfort wise, these have been awesome. Absolutely awesome. They're completely waterproof, completely windproof. Really, I only if I feel wind, it's really my boots, but not my legs at all. All right, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys learned something about getting winter gear on a budget. My next video, I'm going to be testing the gearing changes that I was talking about in my update video, 3-month update video. I'm planning on switching my current gearing setup from a 16-tooth front sprocket and 43-tooth sprocket. I'm going to switch that to a 16 and a 42 in the rear. But I wanted to experiment to see just how the bike overall performs with different gearing. I see a lot of, well, folks already have the stock gearing on the bike. You already know how that performs. I've seen a whole lot of information out there about the 16-tooth front sprocket and how that performs, but I don't get to see that much information about like a 15-tooth front with 42 rear or a 16-tooth front with a 42 rear. So those are things that I'm going to be experimenting with. So look out for that video when that comes out. All right, so until next time, guys, stay safe out there, and peace.